Today's class is going to be about reported speech. This time we're going to cover how to report questions and how to report requests and imperatives. So when we have a reporting question, it's because we're using them to tell someone what another person asked us. So I'm going to tell another person about a question that somebody else made. When we report questions, we do not use auxiliaries. And that's because as they are not direct questions, they follow the rules of indirect questions that up to now, guys, you should know how to form them. If you have any questions about that, remember that you can check the reference and the grammar reference in your books. And when we're reporting a question, we use if or whether if it's a yes-no question. Just remember that part. If I make a yes-no question, for example, have you seen that movie? Then when I report it, I use whether. She asked me if or whether I had seen that movie. So that would be the reason why we use if or whether. And all the other changes, when we're talking about the verb forms, the pronouns, and the time expressions, we use the same rules as in reported sentences. We have to change the verbs, if it's a present simple to past simple, if it's a present continuous to past continuous, etc. If the pronouns have to change, because it's not the same to say I have seen that movie than she has seen that movie. And some time expressions, like tomorrow, remember you cannot report it as tomorrow. You have to change that expression to the following day or the next day. If we analyze already this example, in direct speech, the original question was, where did you study acting? He asked me. So if you notice, we have a question word, in this case is where. So when you report it, it's going to use or be used with the same question word, where. If you notice here, the structure of the original question or the question in direct speech is auxiliary, subject, verb. What happens when you make the report of that question is we go back to a statement order. That means we're going to start with the subject and then the verb. Why are we changing you to I? Because in direct speech, he asked me. So he asked me where I, because the question was made to me, I had studied. This is a past simple. We change it to past perfect. So analyzing another example, you can have a direct question and it's a yes/no question also. For example, are you working now? So you have auxiliary, subject, verb. What we do when we report it is we change the order to subject and then the verb. If the question has no WH word, remember we're going to use if or whether, and we're going to use the past form. In this case is the present continuous, so we change it to the past continuous. And now it's a different moment, so instead of using now in the reported question, we use at the moment. So the complete reported question would be, he asked me if or whether I was working at the moment. We also have requests and imperatives. A request is when someone asks you to do something. Someone asks you to do him or her a favor, or to someone else. So it could be like in direct speech, he said, please come to the meeting on Monday. So that's a request. How do I report that? Instead of said, I'm going to use the verb ask. Because the verb ask in this context, it means that someone is requesting something. So he asked. If we follow the formula that we have to use is the verb asked, and then we need an object. Asked whom? So in this case, it's asked me. And then we have to use the infinitive with to if it's affirmative or not to if it's a negative. So as the verb is come, then we're going to report it as to go. Why do we change come to go? Okay, remember that it's not the same, okay, to come to this place than going to that place. So as we report it in from a different place, then we're going to change the verb. Analyzing imperatives. Okay, the difference here is that we're going to use the verb told. So if we have the imperative, okay, we have told, then we have an object, and the same, not plus infinitive with to if it's negative, or just infinitive with to if it's affirmative. So for example, in this case, we have he told me don't accept any more work. So we reported he told me not to accept any more work. So this is the way that we report imperatives. If it's an affirmative imperative, accept more work, then this one has to be affirmative. He told me to accept more work. Okay, so this is the way that we report requests and imperatives. So with this information, and you can also use your books if you need more or another explanation, it's individually on a separate paper. It's to hand in and to leave it in my office. You're going to write the questions of exercise 6A, page 89, in reported speech, using the phrases that you have in brackets. And from page 89 also, exercise 9, you have some questions there that you have to write in reported speech. And to finish, you're going to write the sentences from exercise 5A, that's on page 91. The sentences that are in bold, what you need to do is report those sentences using the verbs that you have in brackets. So with this information, okay, you finish your activity and you take it to my office before 4 o'clock, or if you have any trouble before the time, okay, then I will receive them on Thursday at the beginning of the class. Thank you guys. See you next class.